In this movie, I want to take a look at how we can get our MySQL database class to actually perform database queries for us. Specifically, I want to focus on step 3 out of our 5 connections on performing the database query. The SQL is going to change each and every time on different pages. We're going to want to run SQL on different tables. We're going to want to ask for different things. We're going to want to do inserts and deletes. But this part here is the same every time. We're just simply doing a query, getting the result back, and making sure the result exists. So let's take that and put it in our class. I'll just copy it and paste it over here in our class. I'll go down here and we'll make public function query. And of course, we're going to pass in SQL. And then let's just paste in that same code we were working with. Now we know we're going to need to ask for the connection as the attribute from the MySQL database class. And then the one other change we're going to need to make here is, of course, if there's not a result, die. But otherwise, we want to return the result. It doesn't do us any good if we just run the query and then nothing happens. We want to be able to return it out of the object, and then we'll be able to catch it into a variable. And then we'll be able to work with those results. Now, in the essential training, we also had a couple of other helper methods that we were using to help us interact with databases. Confirm query was one of them. I'm going to go ahead and bring that over into our class. And you'll see that it does the same thing that was being done up here. So we can actually take all of this now that we have a new method for it and reduce it down to just confirm query, and then we'll pass it in the result. Now this can actually be a private method because it's not something we need to be able to call from outside the class. The class just needs to be able to confirm that the queries worked. Now if you ever came up with a case where you did want to be able to do it, you could make it into something public. I'm just going to change this also from result set to just result. I think that's just a little cleaner. And then the other one that we were working with before was this MySQL prep. If you either didn't do the essential training or if you don't have access to that code again, go ahead and pause your movie, copy this down. But remember, what it does is it prepares values for submission to SQL. And it does that by doing some checking to figure out whether or not magic quotes has been set, whether or not we have access to MySQL real escape string. And then it does some processing on the value that we submit. So it's a good way to just make sure our values are clean and ready to go to SQL. So I'm going to copy that one as well. And I'll close that up. And let's put that one up here. MySQL prep. Even though we don't have a place that we're going to use it just yet, we can see right away that it makes a lot of sense for us to have any code related to MySQL be inside our database class. We're grouping our code so it's easy to know where to find it. We don't have to wonder which one of our function files is it in. It's in our database file. It makes it easy to find. And then we can modify this later if we need to. And I'll go ahead for now and let's make it public. So now we have the majority of the parts that we were working with in the essential training rolled into our database class. And we can simply call query on some SQL and it'll take care of the rest for us. So let's try that out in the next movie and make sure that our database class is working and troubleshoot any problems that we run into.